Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. Zube here, and I'm going to be doing a random general reading. I have been gone for a short while. I apologize, but I was getting a hernia surgery, which is fun. Fixing the body. And if you are interested in a personal reading, astrology, or tarot, my information is down below. This reading will be general, take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you happen to like what you see here, please like and subscribe. So I am getting a message of loops being like loops, just things looping and connecting. And this happened for me in a very personal, like in a really, really, I'm going to tell you about it. But like the timelines kind of coalescing and coming together is kind of what I'm getting. So this hernia surgery, I had gone to the emergency room 4.5 years ago in 2019 because I didn't know why I was suddenly growing a ball. That's what I called it, my chick ball. But I had been waitressing and lifting a bunch of heavy stuff, and all of a sudden started to get a bulge. It's not a typical hernia for a woman to have, whatever. So at that time, I didn't have health insurance. I still don't, but bear with me. The ER doctors told me what it was, and they said I needed to have surgery. And I didn't remember any of this, like the doctor's name or anything like that, because I looked into it for a little bit to see how much the surgery would be. And it was just too expensive. I was like, well, I'll have to live with it. But the weird thing about that is that at that time, I decided both consciously and then it became subconscious that I just wasn't going to be as active because it made me really nervous knowing it was there. And so in July of 2019, I kind of dialed down on physical activity in my life. Long story short, I was able to participate in a study on medication, not surgery. And the same doctor who had quoted me back in 2019, it was the same doctor that actually ended up doing the study in a completely different roundabout way. But it felt to me like a loop being completed, and I've been getting a lot of that. Most of them are in more indescribable ways. So I'm going to pull some cards, but it's like I almost see it, or how when you sew things, or especially when you're doing like one of those cross stitch prints, you'll like back loop and pull a string, and it's something like that. Like pieces are coming together that might be years old, and you're like, oh, look at how that worked. So I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck on what are we looping. Forgiveness. Oh, forgiveness. That plays into my hernia too. Wow. 2 more. Spouse. So this could have to do with like your spouse. And the arts. And these don't all have to be for everyone. I think these are going to be individual. So maybe there are loops that are being closed or completing with our spouses, with a cycle of forgiveness, with ex-spouses. The arts maybe makes me kind of think of some sort of craft or gift or creative activity that maybe we find pleasure in, or that we dropped or picked up again, or whatever. But yeah, those are more for you to interpret. But closing up loops with regards to spouse, forgiveness, and the arts. And now I'm going to pull some tarot to get advice on that. Okay. I have missed you all though, but I was in recovery. So internal, we have the 9 of Cups. That's the wish fulfilled. The 9 of Cups is knowing that we deserve the most. So internally, we're like, what are my wishes? What if your wish, and even think about old versions of you and what your wishes would have been. What's in front of us? The Empress. The Empress is the creatrix, she's the divine feminine. This is also kind of arts, the Empress is mother energy. It's crafts, it's creating. It can be like a business owner who is their own work. It's, mom stuff, our mom stuff, us as mom stuff. It's also giving birth to things, creating something from within, like from something heartfelt. So where we are right now, and I'm asking these in an advice sort of way, is internally, what are our wishes? What are our desires? And externally, what are we birthing? What can we birth? Let's see what God sees. Looking down on the situation from the higher perspective. 2 of Pentacles. That's balance. I always think of this too as like 3D, 5D, new earth, old earth. But this from the higher perspective, we are putting things into balance, whether this is us and another, whether this is our work life, our home life, self-care, what we put into other people, this person or that person. And it doesn't just have to be 2 things juxtaposed. It could be that we are just juggling a lot. And coming out as advice, like, be mindful of balance. Don't overgive, don't overtake. Be conscientious with the 2 of Pentacles. We don't want to become distracted. In this card, there are boats, like big waves and boats going up and down in the background. And he can't pay any attention to that, because if he is like, oh, what are they screaming about over there? All those waves. And he's going to drop what it is that he's juggling. So let's do some keywords. Communication. Understanding. We have forgiveness. We have understanding. We have communication, talking about our wants and desires. Expectancy. The Empress is expectant. Literally, she's usually represents a pregnant woman about to give birth, like the divine feminine. But the birth can be something like that we are birthing, like a business or a project or a new way of being. And that's for men and women who might be watching this. But let me look at these all again. But she represents, this is us on the external. She represents like the loving mother. This is being unconditionally loving, being forgiving, being it. She also receives, like, what are we receiving? It's time to receive our wishes that are going to come to fruition. We have to balance. This is, from the higher perspective, we've got to balance what we want, what others want. We have to balance our expectancy, maybe be honest about our expectancy, be understanding when listening. What we do. Right. I got all these. I got all these free Doreen Virtue card decks, like a lot of them. And I think it's kind of funny because she's kind of saved or whatever and renounces all this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of they're cool decks though. So I'm going to pull some of those and then I'm going to pull from my Bible quote cards. Oh no, if I could find them. Um, yep, here they are. So we're going to pull a Doreen Virtue. I think when we are in that Empress energy and we're kind of receiving and observing, we know that we are creating something new, but we're both receptive to the environment around us and what is unfolding as we go. Entrepreneur. That's funny. Self-employment suits your disposition and intentions. Working for yourself allows you to better follow your intuition and divine guidance. We are your coworkers and teammates who remain loyally by your side to ensure your success in all ways. I don't think this means that everybody should like quit their job, but follow your intuition with regards to your calling or your purpose or what it is that you're meant to do, to remember that your spirit team are your coworkers. And the Empress does build a business, Bible quote. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Wow. So, okay, looking at all of these again, communication, understanding, expectancy, maybe holding our own expectations. Maybe we are expectant, but letting things unfold, delivering what is divine within us and what feels guided by our intuition, being entrepreneurial. So there may be something here about going in an unusual direction or doing something unusual that feels right, that feels strong, that's for you, like not against, I was kind of tripping out when I was like in observation for a while about, I was watching YouTube videos, and then eventually I sat there in silence because I was getting sick of them all. But it's like, there's like, I'm for this and I'm for that because that's against this. And that there's just so much to the divide and conquer. Can we all not just be humans who are like humaning, and that's tough. Maybe somebody here is thinking about picking up the arts as a business, like doing more on that. Forgiveness of a spouse, maybe we have been in an imbalance, like setting aside our own wants and needs and desires. And it's not that we create our own desires against someone, but just for us, right? Maybe there's an allowable space for that in a relationship. Like, it's kind of interesting, this surgery, the only date that I could get it, unfortunately, I had to miss a trip with my husband. And at first, I was just not going to do it. But it was really important for me to get this surgery done. And so I did. And he was totally cool with that. Like, here I thought it would, it would hurt his feelings. And I was all worried about how it would impact him. And like, sure, he's totally bummed that I'm not with him for a family vacation, but for reasons I won't go into, like, I had to do it by this date, or who knows when I could do it again. So like, and what I would do, wow, what I would, please tell me if this resonates for you, because it sure as hell is for me. But when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. So if we don't like, if we're not real showy about what it is that, or, attention seeking about what it is that we want to do, it's like there's something of like leadership being born, but this is a leadership of walking the walk, and quiet relationship with spirit, the universe, God, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, and having an open communication in that relationship. Yeah, there's something in that feels big. Anyway, I got to get going. Thank you guys. I missed doing this, and I hope you have a great day on earth. Peace. Namaste.